Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Behzad Kasimov from CleanTech Vanadium Mining. Behzad, CleanTech just recently announced doubling your Illinois mineral rights holdings. Can you tell us more about this deal?
Right. We recently announced the acquisition of roughly 1,600 acres in Illinois, United States. And why this deal is important is because it's not just acres, right? We acquired the area which covers the areas that have been in production before. Those 1,600 acres that we have recently acquired, they surround a deposit called Higgs Dome, and Higgs Dome is one of the largest deposits in the United States that contains fluorspar and rare earth metals, and it has roughly about 50 to 60 million tons of ore, according to historic estimates. So why it is important is because the Higgs Dome served as a source of minerals, and we now know that in the areas that we acquired in Illinois, they cover the deposits of fluorspar and possibly of rare earth metals. And by acquiring 1,600 acres, we increased our holdings in Illinois to roughly 2,800 acres. Again, those cover the deposits. Together with our holdings in Kentucky, we now hold more than 17,500 acres in both those states. And they cover more than 20 deposits of fluorspar and possibly rare earth elements.
So CleanTech Vanadium is new to our audience. And I loved how your CEO described this latest acquisition as giving you a holding that is larger than Manhattan. Can you tell us a little bit more about the vision for CleanTech?
Right. So the plan, the strategy, or as you said, the vision is really to respond to the ongoing challenges when it comes to the supply and demand of critical minerals. And fluorspar is defined as a critical mineral by the United States Geological Survey Service. So what we see right now is that supply is concentrated, of critical minerals, mainly, for example, in countries such as China, and it's often being used as a leverage in negotiations with the United States or countries in Europe. And we also see that the U.S. government is pushing for the diversification of supply of these critical minerals. And our vision, our strategy is to bring that supply from within the United States. As I mentioned, we have acquired more than 17,500 acres in Kentucky and Illinois, and they cover more than 20 deposits, so of fluorspar and possibly of rare earth metals. So we are in a very strong position to contribute to the resolution of these challenges, of these issues that the United States is facing.
It's my understanding that the Americans and Europeans have listed fluorite as a critical mineral because you can't easily substitute it in many chemical and metallurgical processes, and that the supply is very concentrated in very few countries. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got involved in this critical mineral?
Right. So what we noticed in 2021 and 2022 is that China has become a net importer of fluorspar, and this has been reflected on the price of fluorspar. Just in 2025, the price of fluorspar has increased by more than 40 or even 50%, and it's currently traded at $500 per ton if we're talking about the acid grade fluorspar. So at the same time, we see a increasing demand for semiconductors, increasing demand for power from data centers being built in the United States, and fluorspar is a critical element in all these trends that are happening across the world. Right, we're talking about the push for building the best AI system. We're talking about building more data centers. We're talking about bringing more power, particularly in the United States. And fluorspar cannot be replaced. If we're talking about the uranium enrichment, if we're talking about the renewable energy, or we're talking about the semiconductors. So we saw that that China has become a net importer. It's the supply is concentrated. China is using this fact that they are the biggest supplier of fluorspar as a leverage in negotiations with countries in Europe and the United States. And we also see the push from the United States to diversify the supply of critical minerals, and fluorspar is part of these critical minerals. And we started looking globally at different jurisdictions, where is the best place to start producing the fluorspar. We already been working in the United States. We have a Gibellini Vanadium project, and we have successfully we have received a positive record of decision on the environmental impact statement for the Gibellini project. So we have already been operating in this regulatory framework in the United States, and it was a natural choice for us to look at the United States, to look at the different states, and we noted that United States has a significant resources of fluorspar and has been in production. So we the Illinois and Kentucky caught our attention. It has been a major producer of fluorspar in the past. There is significant resources that remain underground, and for us it was a natural choice, to look closely at that area. And once we determined that this is where we want to be, in July 2025 we started acquiring different projects, and by the end of November 2025 we now hold the area, which is as you said, larger than Manhattan, more than 17,500 acres, covering more than 20 deposits. And these are not just greenfield projects, right? These are brownfield projects. So we are, as I said, we are in a strong position to respond to the current challenges that the United States is facing.
When you were speaking of areas, when you were talking about this initially, you referenced the Hicks Dome area. And in addition to the fluorspar, it's my understanding you've got additional critical minerals. Can you touch on that for just a minute?
Right. As I said, Higgs Dome is one of the largest deposits when it comes to the fluorspar and rare earth metals, and it is located in the United States. So it's an important project for the United States. It can source significant amount of rare earth metals in the future. For us, geologically speaking, its importance comes from the fact that it serves as a source of mineralization, right? The fluorspar mineralization, and possibly of rare earth metals. So we know for sure that the areas that we have acquired, the deposits that we have acquired, they contain the fluorspar. But in addition to that, because of this, because of the geological understanding of this evolution of mineralization in the area, we now potentially can also make a discovery on rare earth metals, right? And we're talking about the heavy rare earth metals such as dysprosium, scandium, or yttrium, or germanium. It's a possibility that in addition to the fluorspar, the project that we have acquired may also contain rare earth metals.
And of course, you recently announced that CleanTech is expanding your royalty agreement with Oracle Commodity. Can you explain to our readership how that works?
Agreement signed between the Oracle Commodity Holdings and CleanTech is a standard agreement. It's a royalty agreement, and it's as I said, it's an agreement to bring financing to CleanTech. In the United States or Canada or even rest of the world, this is one of the standard mechanisms how mining company can raise financing. That is by selling its royalty. Essentially, what we're doing, we're selling 2% royalty on the revenue, less certain smelter charges to the Oracle, and then Oracle in the future will be providing financing for us to develop our projects. In this case, in the United States, in Kentucky and Illinois.
You also talked about how you're moving along your Gibellini, did I pronounce that right, vanadium project?
That's correct. The Gibellini Vanadium project is located in Nevada. It's a vanadium project. It's an open pit and heap leach project. So in terms of engineering, it's going to be a simple project, compared to the underground projects. It contains roughly about 130 million of vanadium pentoxide as in a measured and indicated category. Overall, if we take into account the inferred resources, it contains more than 300 million pounds of vanadium pentoxide. What's important is that we hit our milestone in October 2023 when the project received a positive record of decision on its environmental impact statement from the Bureau of Land Management in Nevada. We have received a number of federal permits already. There are yet some, we're yet to receive a number of other permits. And once we complete our environmental permitting, and if the market conditions are favorable, we will be in position, to bring the mine into production quickly. We own a ranch close to our Gibellini project, which provides a source of water. So as I said, this is an advanced project, very close to completing its permitting. And once we complete the permitting, and if the conditions are favorable, we will be able to bring that mine into production as well. And Gibellini is part of the same story. We're talking about the responding to the challenges that the United States is facing when it comes to the diversification of supply of critical minerals. And vanadium is also defined as a critical mineral by the United States Geological Survey.
So if you're thinking about critical minerals and you're looking for more information on fluorspar or vanadium, please go to the CleanTech Vanadium Mining website. Thank you so much, Begsad.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for having me.